Welcome to the Community Foundation for Ireland's presentation on the Older Persons Fund and making a strong application. The agenda for today's presentation is as follows. There will firstly be an introduction on the Community Foundation for Ireland. Then I will introduce the Older Persons Fund. Then I will discuss how to make a strong application, and finally, if you are successful, what happens after that. The Community Foundation for Ireland was established in 2000 and it aims to support community-based initiatives that promote community development, equality and social inclusion at a local and national level in Ireland. To date, we have given out 37.5 million in cumulative grant making since 2000. Some of the areas we have focused our grant making on are older persons, women, migrants, LGBTQI, mental health and youth. Historically, in the Community Foundation, we gave out small grants through, for example, our grassroots grants. But since 2000, our grants have become larger and more focused. In 2000, we launched our Caring Community Grants, which then we became Belonging 16 grants. And now we call for applications under Social Change grants, which we opened last year and we will have open this year. With the larger grants, we look for more strategic and focused grant making, where we look in particular at the impact a programme or project or set of activities can have. We particularly like to see applications that demonstrate pilot programmes that could be scalable. In addition to seeking more strategic and impactful applications, we look for more collaboration among grantees and deeper evaluation of grantees' work. To this end, we host 2 learning and network events throughout the duration of the project with the aim of increasing learning and sharing outcomes among successful applicants. Thereby, we hope to positively support grantees through developing their learning and support networks. The Older Persons Fund is a long-term philanthropic fund which promotes the civic engagement of older people as a means of working towards making a difference in their communities. The fund builds on our long-standing engagement and commitment to supporting older people in their communities. We have invested over 1 million in this area to date. The Older Persons Fund Through the Older Persons Fund, we seek to build a long-term sustainable fund to support older people's voices at a local and national level and their capacity to engage fully in all strands of society. The mission of the Older Persons Fund will be to support strategic, community-based and national activities promoting older people as active citizens and advocates, including influencing policy, community decision-making processes, leadership, negotiation and other ways to give greater voice to older people. The Older Persons Fund was set up with an initial investment of 3 million. 1 million was provided by the Community Foundation for Ireland and 2 million from the Atlantic Philanthropies. The Older Persons Fund 2018 is now open for applications. This year we are seeking applications in the following categories. The first category is to support older people's voice at a local and national level and their capacity to engage in all strands of society. And the second category is to promote older people's participation as active citizens in their communities and their inclusion in civic life. For this year, we have grants of up to 7,500 available in both categories. You can access the full detailed criteria and our online application on our website, www.foundation.ie, at the moment. As I mentioned before, this year we will have an open call for our social change grants. The following categories have been identified for applications. We have yet to come up with detailed criteria, but we will inform you when we do so. We will be calling for applications under social change in the following areas: mental health and travellers, mental health and domestic violence, refugees and immigrants. We plan to open this in August, and at that point the full criteria and online application will be available on our website and in our Philanthropy Matters newsletter. We will also have a webinar on our social change grants closer to the opening time. How to make a strong application. When you are applying, we look for the following as general criteria. Make sure your application serves an identified need. that it has clear, detailed, realistic costs and timescales, that it works with the target community that is outlined in the criteria, that your application is not internal to the organisation but has a wider community reach, that your application has potential for wider impact within the sector, and ideally your suggested project would create a model of working that will provide learning opportunities for other groups. Only one application per organisation per scheme. Please ensure also that your organisation is signed up to the Governance Code for Charities, www.governancecode.ie, that you are registered with the Charities Regulatory Authority, and that your annual accounts are available. All applicants should have an organisational bank account. We require a scanned copy of your organisational bank statement, which should be no more than 6 months old at the time of application. You can block out any transactions on this bank statement. Our annual accounting requirements are based on annual accounting regulations from the Charities Regulatory Authority. They have put 3 bands for this under this regulation: Band A, Band B and Band C. Under Band A, organisations with a gross annual income of less than 10,000. It is optional for a charity in this income bracket to provide a profit and loss account or income and expenditure account and statement of assets and liabilities for the reporting period. Band B is organisations with gross annual income of 10,000 to 100,000. They must provide a profit and loss account or income and expenditure account and statement of assets and liabilities for the reporting period. Under Band C, organisations with gross annual income of more than 100,000 must provide a full set of audited accounts for the reporting period, including director and auditors' reports. When you're completing the form, you will be asked to fill in the following: to give a description of your organisation, to give a short description of your intended project, and then you will be asked for a detailed description of your intended project. You will be asked what is the need and how was it identified? How are the beneficiaries identified? And how are the beneficiaries disadvantaged? What are the projected benefits and outcomes of your suggested project? How will these be measured? What happens after the funding ends? And will you be working with other local organisations? For our budget section, be honest and realistic. When you put in your budget on the application, check it for a second time and make sure that the costs add up. Be careful and watch that there is no gap in the cost that is not accounted for. Note that we never fund core costs. Make sure your timeline and budget are clear, detailed and concise. Always have a realistic timescale. Our projects are usually 12 months duration, and we look for an outcome report at the end of that 12 months. What happens to your application after the deadline? There is an initial screening and internal review here in the Community Foundation for Ireland. Then we send the applications to our expert grants panel for decisions, and when they have come back with what they have suggested are the successful applications, we then send them to the board for final approval. What our grant panel look for and watch out for in applications is that your organisation does not exceed the organisational income limit of what we have outlined in our grant schemes criteria, that your organisation is not for profit, that there is only one application from your organisation, that there is a need for your project, a clear breakdown of your project activities, what your outcomes will be, that you, where possible, are working in partnership with other organisations, that you have a realistic, clear, detailed timeline and budget, and that it is not for ongoing or core work. Common mistakes we come across in grant applications. Some common mistakes are that applicants have not read the criteria properly, cannot clearly explain project activity, timing is not aligned with our grant scheme, and the costs don't add up in the budget section. Other mistakes we come across are blank answers to questions, categories not ticked, requested amounts outside of our funding available, or that a missed deadline, or you have not read the criteria in detail. Always check your application after applying and ensure that you are happy with it and that everything is filled in properly and that all your costs add up. Some characteristics of a winning proposal are and include the following: clear and significant needs, clear connection to grantor intentions, that you have a strong plan to address needs, evidence of organisational capacity and a justifiable evaluation plan, and that there is a sufficient and necessary budget. When your application has been successful, what happens next? Here at the Community Foundation, with all our grantees, we have certain reporting requirements. During the duration of a project, which is, as I mentioned before, approximately 12 months, we ask for a project plan at the start, an interim monitoring report halfway through the project, and a final outcome report at the end of the 12-month period. We also, as I mentioned before, have 2 learning network events, one at the start of the project and one at the end of the project. Where possible, we arrange site visits, and this is usually to the organisation or the place where the activities of the project have been taken place. And we ask that you share learning with other grantees and with ourselves. Some dates for your diary this year, 2018. The Older Persons Fund is currently open. All details are on our website, criteria, our online application form. It closes on the 12th of April 2018. Our Social Change 2018 will open in August, exact date to be confirmed, and will close September 2018, exact date to be confirmed. Our Women's Fund opens on the 26th of March and will close on the 30th of April. For updates in relation to all of our upcoming grant rounds, sign up to our Philanthropy Matters newsletter if you have not already done so. You can do this through our website, www.communityfoundation.ie. And all our open grant schemes will be advertised also through ActiveLink, The Wheel, and as usual on our website. If you wish to contact us with any questions you may have on this presentation or on any of our grant schemes, you can contact us at info@foundation.ie and on the following phone number 01 874 7354. Thank you for listening today.